You may have outsmarted me, but I outsmarted your outsmarting. And your next line is going to be, oh.
Oh. What? Hello everyone, welcome back to the Real Screen Team. I'm Andrew Thomas. I'm back with my partner in crime, Christopher Johnson.
Hello, everyone.
And we're doing another Expert and Novice, and it's another JoJo for the double take. So, Chris, what's this JoJo season called?
Yes. We're talking about Part 2, Battle Tendency, which is actually my favorite part of the whole JoJo series.
You want to tell us what this part's about?
Okay. Well, this part takes place in 1938 in New York City, 50 years after the events of Part 1, Phantom Blood, where, unfortunately, in the end, Jonathan Joestar had to sacrifice himself to stop the evil that is Dio Brando by making sure that they both went to the bottom of the sea in an exploding boat. But fortunately, Jonathan did save his wife, Irina, who was pregnant with their son, and a newborn baby girl.
And this is for spoiler alerts for the Part 1, in case everyone knows.
So now we're in New York City, 1938, and we're introduced to the second JoJo, Joseph Joestar, the grandson of Jonathan Joestar. And he and Irina have now moved to New York, they've moved to New York City from their home in England to be close to family friend and greatest Joe Bro ever, Robert E.O. Speedwagon, who has now become a very rich and successful oil tycoon and has created his own special foundation to monitor any potential evil threats that could end up popping up. And as a matter of fact, while they have just moved, Speedwagon has gone with people, a part of his foundation, to Mexico, where they have uncovered something that could definitely be a serious threat. A whole bunch of stone masks, and in the center of all those masks, a living being encased in stone, known as the Pillar Man. The Pillar Men are these ancient Aztec beings that possess great and powerful abilities, all rather unique to one another. But the only drawback is they can't survive in sunlight. So essentially we're dealing with another threat that could potentially be destroyed by the power of Hamon. And fortunately, despite never being formally trained, Joseph actually has the unique ability of using Hamon. It's not refined, but he definitely knows how to use it. But when Speedwagon has uncovered this thing, and he also brought along family friend and former ally from Part 1, Straightso, to potentially destroy the Pillar Man, Straightso does a complete heel turn. Because the man got older after all these 50 years, he's envious of Dio's eternal youth, decides to backstab Speedwagon, use the stone mask, turn himself into a vampire, leaves Speedwagon for dead, and then decides to go to New York to take out Joseph and Irina. But, as I just said, Joseph, knowing how to use Hamon, maybe not refined, but he knows how to do it, And also the fact of him being the world's greatest tactician, able to read his opponent so well that he knows exactly what they're going to say the next thing that they try to say to try to intimidate Joseph. He's able to soundly defeat Straightso, but before Straightso dies, he lets Joseph know that there's another threat in Mexico, the Pillar Man. And fortunately, Speedwagon did survive the attack, but now he's under the control of...
Not...
No! Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Do you know what YouTube's gonna do to us? No. He's under the control of German soldiers. Led by Rudolf von Stroheim. And Dummy Stroheim and the German soldiers decide that they're going to awaken the Pillar Man. And that doesn't turn out well for them. Now, does it? So many German soldiers slaughtered. And this first Pillar Man is known as Santana. He has the unique ability to absorb things and people into his body. And initially, this first fight between him and Joseph didn't seem like it was going to go the way that Joseph wanted to. But luckily, Stroheim was able to help, and Joseph was able to make Santana turn to stone when he was revealed to sunlight. But before Stroheim tried to sacrifice himself, he did let Joseph know that there are actually 3 more Pillar Men encased in stone in Italy. So now, Joseph and Speedwagon have to go to another expedition all the way to Rome, Italy, where they run into another individual with a very familiar last name.
Zeppeli.
Yes. They run into the grandson of Baron William Zeppeli, Caesar Zeppeli. And initially, Caesar and Joseph don't get along because they're both very charismatic and how would you say?
They both have big egos.
Yeah. But eventually they do learn to, stop butting of heads and actually become best friends. And they've decided to bring Zeppeli along to try to make sure that the Pillarmen don't wake up. But guess who has happened to show up to ruin things once again? Are you crazy? The German soldiers, who once again have caused the Pillarmen to wake up. And now we have to deal with even stronger and more tenacious Pillarmen, known as WAMU, AC/DC, and their leader, Cars. And their goal is to go and find the Red Stone of Asia, the special stone that they can put into a mask, put the mask on, and then they will become the perfect being. They can live through sunlight. They will have the ability to control and create all matters of life all around the world. And they essentially want to take over the world. So now... Of course. So now, Joseph and Caesar have to use their hormone abilities to stop them. But they find out that the Pillarmen are way too strong. But in a weird way, Joseph kind of develops a gentleman agreement between Wamu and AC/DC, mainly Wamu, to give both himself and Caesar the opportunity to train and get stronger so they can have an even better fight than what they initially had. So, Wamu, AC/DC, and Cars agree to this, give Joseph 33 days to get stronger, and then they're going to have their fight. But to make sure that Joseph doesn't try to sneak away from the impending battle, Wamu and AC/DC create these poisonous rings that they're able to put in Joseph's body, right around his heart and right around his windpipe. And the only way to make sure that these rings do not dissolve and kill him in 33 days, he has to defeat them and get Wamu's lip ring and AC/DC's nose ring, which have the antidotes. So, Joseph and Caesar have to go and meet another hormone master. And this hormone master was the person that taught Caesar how to wield hormone. And this hormone master is known as Lisa. And she doesn't make things easy for Joseph and Caesar. Whether it's making them climb up a freaking pillar covered in oil for 3 days, or having her support staff and Loggins and Machina whip both Joseph and Caesar into shape. But through all these efforts, Joseph and Caesar have become hormone masters. Joseph now fully knows all the capabilities and unique things that hormone can do, because hormone has become way more advanced than what it was in part 1. So now they feel as though that they're ready to go ahead and face off with the Pillarmen. But before they can get soundly ready, they have to run in some obstacles. Mm-hmm. Whether it's the Pillarmen trying to attack them, or the German soldiers getting involved again. Can Joseph, Caesar, Lisa, and others stop the Pillarmen and their possibility of world domination?
Of course.
And becoming the perfect beings? I suggest you go ahead and watch. So, what did you think of this part?
I thought it started off really strong. The problem is the fight with the Pillarmen went too long, in my opinion.
Well, yeah.
It ran by a couple episodes. Some of them I felt like unnecessary and kind of pointless on some times. It could have just been like one episode, but 1 or 2 instead of like 3 or 4 episodes.
Well, that's one of the things about shonen anime. Mm-hmm. To really entice people, sometimes the fights get dragged out a bit long. Mm-hmm. After a while, you get used to it.
Yeah.
And sometimes the fights actually get so intense that you don't even mind it dragging out. Mm-hmm. But I know that you were definitely a big fan of the first part because of, the vampires, the zombies, the whole gothic drama. What did you think about the overall presentation of this part?
The presentation, I said before, it just started out strong. Like I said, it just ran a little too long, along with some soap opera stuff, which you have to watch to know why I said that on that one.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's at least one point where things got so heartbreaking I actually did shed a tear.
Oh yes, I saw that episode.
Yeah, if your name's Zeppeli, you're not gonna have a good time.
Yeah, yeah,
But you say that it started off strong.
I like the character of Joseph, mainly because he was a smart mouth on that one.
This Joseph is absolutely fantastic. This man is like essentially Indiana Jones, Sean Connery's James Bond, and David Tennant's version of the Doctor rolled into one unique, charismatic package. The man acts like he's a bit of an oaf. Maybe sometimes he isn't necessarily the most smartest, but the man is very intelligent when it comes to battle.
Mm-hmm.
The man, like I said, is able to figure out what his opponent is going to do before they even do it.
Hence the cold open.
Yes. So, definitely, I say that Joseph is a much more interesting JoJo compared to Jonathan. No offense to Jonathan. Jonathan's great. Mm-hmm. I really do think that people don't give him enough credit. Mm-hmm. But Joseph takes the groundwork laid out by Jonathan and takes it and raises it like over like 10 times. Mm-hmm. And plus, Joseph isn't the only great character a part of this. We got to give it up to his Joe Bro, Caesar Zeppeli.
Yep.
Which I think was definitely a good thing to include. Not only to continue the whole Zeppeli story and how important they are to the story of the Stone Mask and making sure that the Joestar family can defeat evil. But Caesar's also very funny and charismatic. Mm-hmm. I mean, from the time they start butting heads to actually becoming like brothers, it's very interesting to see their friendship grow.
Yep.
And also, I have to give it up to Caesar because the man was able to use bubbles filled with hormone to fight the Pillarmen, and he made it look awesome. Mm-hmm. No one's ever made bubbles look awesome, but he was able to make bubbles awesome. Mm-hmm. So, what did you think about Caesar?
I thought he was cocky at first. Well, he was cocky through most of the season there. Even though he did have some of his calm down moments with him and Joe, where he was the guy, the adult in the two guys, and somehow it switches back and forth between them there.
And plus, you got to give it up to why he's getting involved with all of this. I mean, turns out his dad had to make sure that no one wakes up the Pillarmen. Mm-hmm. And the man watches his dad get devoured by said stone with the Pillarmen. Mm-hmm. The man got absorbed and eaten. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would definitely traumatize someone and make someone want to make sure that, yeah, this bad thing, let's make sure this doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. But, of course, these things do happen because of Rudolf von Stroheim.
Good old Stroheim.
Now, yeah, he's a German soldier. And he and the German soldiers want to make sure that they can use these pillarmen to benefit themselves during World War II. But they end up facing disastrous results. But fortunately, in a weird way, Stroheim actually becomes an ally and a good guy because of these threats.
Good's a relative term.
Yeah, I mean, he's still a German soldier, and he's still overly arrogant and cocky.
He's the lesser of the two evil of the whole other evils, should I say.
Yeah, he is the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
But, hey, he actually
Which
does...
is a weird thing to say about German soldiers.
Yeah. Yeah. But he actually does help out, and if also you don't like German soldiers, you get to see a lot of German soldiers face... some really, really bad things.
Lisa.
Yes. What were your thoughts about Lisa?
She was a badass. And a good-looking badass, too.
Yes. I mean, and it's interesting on how all these things kind of come together, because it turns out she's the baby that was saved by Irina during the events of Phantom Blood.
Yeah.
She was given to Straitso to be raised, and she was taught Hamon and became an absolute master at it. I mean, she's equally as deadly and skillful at it as she is beautiful. And the woman's 50 years old. But due to the use of Hamon, you're able to slow down the aging process, so she still looks like she's in her 20s. But, hey, I love Lisa. She is awesome. And you also have to give it up to her confidant and maid.
Susie Q.
Yes, I love Susie Q. And I love the relationship that she ends up developing with Joseph. It's adorable. It really is. They're both really two peas in a pod. They're both, silly, maybe a little bit aloof, but I really like their relationship. I really do.
Now, let's get into the villains.
Ah, yes, the villains. Wamu, AC/DC, and Cars.
Yeah.
I mean, well, should we also include Santana?
He didn't really play that big of a part.
Yeah, he was like the low-level boss before you do with the major bosses.
Yeah.
But what were your thoughts about the Pillarmen?
Well, I didn't find them all that interesting when I watched it there. The only character I did care for was Wamu. Then I got interested in Cars' backstory, but I still didn't care for Cars all that much. Despite learning about his backstory, which you can watch if you're interested. I didn't really care for it. Out of the three, it was mainly Wamu who was mainly the guy who had more of a personality than the other two.
And also the fact of how his relationship with Joseph was.
Yeah.
That despite they are on extremely opposing sides, there's still like a sense of respect towards one another.
Yeah.
And that's something that I really like about Wamu. That I in many ways I wish he would have been the final boss instead of Cars.
Yeah.
But Cars...
Little spoiler alert there.
Well, yeah. But I understand through, Cars' whole idea why he would end up being, the final boss.
And AC/DC just had a fun personality. Fun, deadly personality.
Yeah. I definitely did enjoy his fight with Joseph.
Yeah.
And it definitely shows how much Joseph has evolved as a hormone master. But I do kind of agree with you that that is kind of the drawback with the Pillarmen, that they're not as charismatic.
As Dio was.
Yeah. You know, that is the one drawback. I mean, Dio, perfect villain. He's charismatic. He's evil. You enjoy watching him, but at the same time, you want to see him fail at his goal. The Pillarmen, it's like, okay, that's pretty cool what they can do. Huh. But I'm not that engaged into why they're motivated.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get it.
So, should we talk about the returning characters, the two?
Ah, yes.
Arena and good old Speedwagon.
Speedwagon.
Guess how many vampire Speedwagon fights this time around?
0. Once again, Speedwagon's doing what he did in part 1. Play-by-play commentary. Though, it's a bit different this go-around, because not only is he doing play-by-play commentary, everyone in their fights are doing play-by-play commentary. Literally explaining to one another how they outsmarted each other in their fight. But it's done in a charming way.
Rena at least has much more personality this time.
Yeah, she's not the helpless little girl or the helpless young woman that she was. She's got a backbone.
Yeah.
That's
what happens when you lose your husband.
Yeah. I mean, to the point that she shows that she can be rather ruthless.
Yeah.
I mean, whether she's cheering on Joseph to teach this guy who disrespects Joseph's new friend, Smokey Brown, just because Smokey's black. I mean, she cheers Joseph on and to show this guy what for, or she'll hit Joseph with an umbrella if he's being a bit too mouthy. Also really enjoyed Smokey.
Yeah.
Despite his small part, he was a nice addition. And he's the beginning of what I consider a very positive look of people of color in anime. Because for the longest time, people in anime have been shown kind of in a very stereotypical and even sometimes offensive way. But I like how they characterize Smokey. And that actually continues into part 3. And you'll see when we get into part 3.
This is for adult. This should be watched by young adults. Recommended for young adults.
Oh, yes.
There's some nudity in this one.
Yeah, nudity, dismemberments. We see a lot of German soldiers end up getting skewered, drained of blood and etc. There's a lot of crazy stuff that happens.
So 17 and up.
It's still TV 14.
Yeah.
They don't show too much, but yeah. Very PG-13 on the verge of R, just like with part 1.
Yeah. And so you want to tell me what your score was?
I gotta give this a 9 out of 10. It's almost perfect. It's almost perfect. Like I said, the Pillarmen not being a complete package as villains is the one drawback. But this story has everything that I enjoy in watching an anime.
I gave it a 7 out of 10. Sorry for...
Really?
Yeah, because in my opinion, the Pillarmen story, the fights went too long. The episodes just went too long in the final fights, which you didn't know if they were the final fights, give or take. As much as I liked Joseph as a character, it was just those Pillarman arcs took way too long. I was waiting. That I had sometimes watching episodes of waiting for them to end to get to the next one.
I guess I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
it might change over time, but right now it's just 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Okay, so next, so coming next year, we're doing a new segment, Designated Guiders, where we're going to go talk about stuff on streaming and TV, and what's the show that we're going over.
We are going to be going over the, once former YouTube Red series, now Netflix series, Cobra Kai. Yeah, we're finally going back to the story of the Karate Kid. And we're going to be going over seasons 1 and 2 and the upcoming season 3 that's coming out in January.
And then don't forget to subscribe either on our, or go find us on Facebook on the Real Screen Team. Go find us on Pack 14 on the Real Screen Team. Go subscribe to our YouTube page, the Real Screen Team, so we can get more of our 2 TVs that we have.
Yes.
Our goal is to
Please.
reach 1,000, so we can have a monetary thing.
Yes.
There.
Yes. We're on the road to 1,000, and we really need your support.
Yeah. It's a difficult time. It'll be that way for another couple of years, so we really need the help at this time.
Yes.
And just subscribing can help us there. You don't have to pay us anything, just subscribe to us.
Yeah. Continue to like, comment, and share our videos. I mean, word of mouth alone can definitely help a long way. And please continue to like and comment, especially with the comments.
Yes. We haven't getting enough of those.
Yeah, we really want to make this channel and our reviews the best that we possibly can. So please give us feedback.
Yep. Get your friends to go watch and look us up. And you want to roll us out, Chris?
Well, sure. Well, I hope you all have enjoyed this. Definitely come back again, especially for part 3, because yada yada daze. The game changes from there.